Welcome to Civilian Jeeps. I'm Jake, and today I've got something that I'm excited to bring to you guys. This is the LiTime 12.8 volt 100 amp hour lithium LiFePO4 battery. That's right, that's a mouthful, but that's what this is. It has self-heating, and it's also a smart battery, meaning that it has Bluetooth 5.0. Now in this video I want to go over everything that I know about this battery, the specs, the features, just what you should know about it, but I also want to do some boondock camping with my Jeep and my trailer, so stick around, let's dive right into it. First, let's start off with an unboxing, and I know unboxings are very boring and drawn out, so I'm not going to do that. This is going to be a really quick unboxing. As you can see, I've already opened it, and I have already taken this battery out of the packaging because I wanted to go ahead and charge it up for this review, and that also activates the Bluetooth in it, which I'll go over that a little bit later. But this is LiTime. It's pronounced LiTime. It looks like LiTime or LiTime, but it's actually LiTime is the correct pronunciation. And first thing you're going to notice probably is your instruction manual, and it's very well written English, even though this is a Chinese company. So I was quite impressed with their instruction manual. Now, you also have some bolts up top, your actual bolts, the studs that go down in the positive and negative on the battery. I've actually already taken those out and installed them. Now, your battery is going to be wrapped in plastic whenever you get it, and that's some pretty thick padding for the foam, so I have no worries about, UPS or FedEx throwing this thing around. Now, whenever you lift this out, you'll see that there's more padding on the bottom, and that's as much as I'm going to do with an unboxing. Well, if you made it through the unboxing, I appreciate you for sticking around. I know that's kind of boring, but what is better than one 100 amp hour 12 volt battery? Two 100 amp hours for a total of 200 amp hours of lithium power for my trailer here. Now, what I was mentioning earlier about boondocking, if you stick around to the end, I'm going to actually be putting these batteries through some paces. Now, I'm not a real technical, I don't have an amp capacity gauge or really anything really technical to really measure these batteries. There's tons of other channels out there that go through whether or not the amp hour capacity of these batteries is up to spec on what they claim, and spoiler alert from the videos that I've watched, it is. So I have no worries about these batteries, and my past batteries, I've had no issues out of them either. So with that being said, these batteries right here, I'm going to be running a projector, a diesel heater, my shower, a freezer, a fridge. I'm going to be running just a night of boondocking on these batteries and see how they do, and really try out this Bluetooth 5.0 with the smart app on my phone and compare it to my Renogy shunt that's on this trailer. So now let's go ahead and dive right into the specs of these batteries. These are LiFePO4 batteries with a 5-year warranty. They have a 4,000 cycle rating on them at 100% depth of discharge. It can even go up to 15,000 cycles at a 60% depth of discharge. The nominal voltage on them is 12.8, and there's 100 amp hours of capacity. Now, when you multiply 12.8 by 100 amp hours, you get 1280 watt hours. Now, the maximum expansion for series and parallel is 4, so you can parallel 4 of these batteries or series 4 of these batteries for 48 volts at 100 amps or 400 amp hours at 12 volts. It also has a max continuous current of 100 amp hours, but it also will surge to 500 amp hours for a second or two if you have a heavy draw on these batteries for a split second. It will handle that up to 500 amp hours. Now, the maximum continuous wattage obviously is the 100 times 12 for 1280 watts. Now, charging, the charge voltage needs to be around 14.4 plus or minus 0.2. So 14.2 to 14.6 really needs to be your charge range, and it recommends that you charge these at 20 amps. Now, the charge temperature needs to be anywhere from -4 to 122 degrees, and discharge is -4 to 140 degrees. Now, if you're curious about the weight of these batteries, it is a game changer compared to wet cell batteries and lead acid, the standard type and AGM. These only weigh 22.7 pounds apiece, which is crazy for the amount of amp hours that you get in these batteries. And this is a group size 24, and they also make a group size 31, but this is a 24 to be able to fit inside my box. Now, the protection is a IP65, and the required minimum charge for the heating function with these pads that are built inside is 10 amps. So let's go ahead and dive into the features. Now, these batteries are equipped with EV grade cells and over 20 protections from the battery monitoring system that's built into this LiTime battery. Now, I wouldn't be too concerned about using these batteries or charging these batteries, even charging them inside your house. I know some people have some reservations with lithium batteries, but I wouldn't hesitate a bit with these. And these batteries, I've charged them with everything from solar to a generator to the alternator on my Jeep, my BC-DC charger, to actually plugging them in and charging them off of AC power with the wall. So I wouldn't hesitate at all to charge these batteries. Now, the first real feature that I want to dive into with these is the Bluetooth function. So let's go ahead, pull out my phone, and really go over how to use Bluetooth. Well, I'm in my basement. It's getting a little cold outside, but I want to show you guys how to use the app with these batteries. If you notice that there's a little Bluetooth symbol right here with a QR code and LiTime, and it's able to be used with an iPhone and Google Play for Android. Now, if you want to download this app, scan this QR code. You'll download it and then go into the app as I'm about to show you, and you can scan your QR code with the Bluetooth. Now, if you take these straight out of the box and try to connect it up with Bluetooth, it won't even recognize it. You have to put a charge on these batteries before it will recognize that the Bluetooth is turned on. So make sure you put a charge on these batteries to begin the Bluetooth process. Now, let's go ahead and switch to my phone, and I'll show you a little bit about the app and how to use it. Okay, so go ahead and click on the LiTime app right here. It'll bring it up. It'll look something like this, except you won't have Jeep Trailer 1, Jeep Trailer 2. So make sure to go up here, click this little plus button, scan the QR code, real quick and easy. It scans it that quick. Now mine, because I already have it set up, what it did was it just turned on the Bluetooth of that battery, so we're now connected. However, yours, once you put charge to the batteries, you're going to want to, that'll, like I stated before, that will enable the battery to connect to Bluetooth. So we'll just click on it, and I'll set it up. I call mine Jeep Trailer 1. You set up a badge, you set up a name, all that good stuff. I have 100% state of charge. There is 100 amp hours capacity. The resting voltage is 13.6 volts, 0 amps, and 0 watts of power. Now, as you can see down here, this is the cells, the battery monitoring system. Everything's looking normal. Everything's looking normal on my cells. The balance with the battery, everything's good and balanced. The self-heating, I don't have that turned on at the moment. I can if I want to, but I don't want to turn that on. But you can also go to your settings down here with each individual battery. And what I'm going to discuss later about the self-heating modes, I've turned mine on efficient, energy efficient that is, so I can actually use the battery's voltage to be able to charge the self-heating pads in the battery for whenever it gets cold outside. And you can discharge switch, turn that on there. You can power off the device. You can remove the device and reinstall it if you need to. But what I've found is that, you might notice I have these in parallel right here, positive, positive, negative, negative, negative. That's 200 amp hours. So to be able to fully see what's going on, the big picture here, you need to go down here to the middle and set up a battery system. Now, I've already set mine up, and whenever you do it, it'll ask, how many batteries do you have in series, how many do you have in parallel. So I have Jeep Trailer 1 battery and Jeep Trailer 2 battery set up in parallel, and those two blue lines mean parallel, one single red line would be a series. I've got 1 and 2 set up in parallel, and you can see that I've got 199 amp hours of battery capacity, 0 watts, 0 amps, and a resting voltage of 13.6 for both batteries. But I look forward to comparing it because I think I'm having some problems with my Renogy shunt, and I would like another device where I can Bluetooth and look at my battery status. So this is going to be really cool this weekend whenever I go out there and try this out. Now the last thing down here is just the settings. You can register for your 5-year warranty. Check out the user guidelines. You can check for updates, the settings for these. You can go to Celsius or change it from English to Chinese, whatever that might your needs might be. Change the font size, all that. Just a very user-friendly app. It's not over the top, like as far as technical jargon, all that good stuff. These batteries really prefer to be above 41 degrees, but if they're below 41, say -4 to 41 is what it states in the manual, that's when your heat strip in the battery is going to turn on. And when it turns on, it brings the internal temperature of the battery up to 50 degrees before it turns back off. Now there's two modes that you've seen in the app. There's the energy efficient mode and the standard mode. Now on the standard mode, you're going to use just a typical charger, at least 10 amps or above, to heat your battery up. Now typically, say it's like 14 degrees outside, it's going to take 70 to 90 minutes thereabouts to heat your battery from 14 up to 50 before it cuts off, and then the remaining current that's being put into the battery after that time frame is going to be actually going to charge the battery. Now there's another mode called energy efficient, which that is something that I kind of struggle with on these batteries, because when I'm thinking energy efficient, you're trying to save energy, which I don't know, I would probably change that to something else. If that's my critique of these batteries, I would say that the energy efficient's a little misleading, because you want to turn energy efficient on whenever you want to use the battery itself to help heat up the pads in the battery to bring it up to temperature. Say that you don't have enough amperage to charge a battery, say you're using solar, it's not bringing in a consistent 10 amps, then you want to use energy efficient as long as the battery is over 20% state of charge. If it's under 20% state of charge, it will not use the energy efficient mode and requires the charger. So that's something that you must know whenever going to use the self-heating function. But I like to winter camp in my trailer. I like to be able to use the Jeep if it's cold outside, say it's snowing. I like to be able to use a generator, the solar, whatever it might be. I don't want to be limited to the low cutoff protection. That it's great that these batteries offer a low cutoff protection so you don't destroy the lithium cells in these batteries if you try to charge them in like colder weather, 41 degrees or lower. So I really like that it has that cutoff protection built in. But that's the main reason that I decided to get this Group 24 100 amp hour 12 volt self-heating model versus the one that I had before. Which one did I have before? Well, let's go check it out. Well, I've got quite the battery stack now. This is my old battery and this is my old battery. The two old ones that used to be in this box are the minis, and they're not a specific group size. They are actually just called minis, and they're less than 20 pounds. This is a Group 24, and as you can see, it has smart Bluetooth 5.0 and self-heating like I mentioned, and this one does not state any of that. Now, LiTime has others, like we'll check out on their website a little later. They have 70 different battery variations, and I think around 50 more accessories for your batteries, over 70 batteries and over 50 accessories that they produce for the batteries. So, if you're ever looking for a certain lithium battery, make sure to check them out, because it's not just this battery that they offer. They offer 12, 16, 24, 36, 48 golf cart batteries, trolling motor batteries, camping batteries, just like, you know, my setup right here. They offer batteries for all different types of whatever you might be doing, RVing, that sort of thing. But these batteries, let's get back to this. The reason that I went away from these is because I wanted the self-heating function of these batteries, which I'm excited to hopefully test out this weekend. It's the Tennessee weather here. The colors are changing. It's getting down to about 40 degrees at night, maybe like upper 30s, lower 40s. So there's a chance this weekend, whenever I go boondocking with these new batteries and take you guys along, that we'll be using the self-heating function and really get to try that out. Now, what are the use cases for these batteries? Now, a lot of people that I know in the overland type scene and camping use them for that, just power, camping. I thought about doing a solar setup on my Jeep to do maybe solar on the hardtop up there, maybe put some lithium batteries in the back and run a lot of the big things. Like if you'll see on my Jeep here, I have tons of accessory lights. Now don't worry, I have lockers too, so you don't have to get all uptight about that. But I have a lot of accessory lighting that really taxes my alternator. So if I was able to take that off and run my accessory lighting to some lithium batteries, that really take the strain off my alternator. So even if you don't have a trailer, an RV, a camper, a custom build like mine, you can still use lithium batteries if you're a Jeep owner and make a really cool battery bank in the back. And there's all kinds of, opportunities and stuff you can do with it. I love talking about solar. Solar is just one of those things that I got into doing it, building the systems and everything, and it just fascinates me. It fascinates me that you can collect the sun's energy and use it to your advantage with some nice power banks like that, and be able to, produce energy for free. It's really cool. So if you got a Jeep, I recommend, lithium batteries to get some of the stuff off your alternator. If you got a trailer, you can go ahead and get some lithium batteries for a lot more power. Now, when I'm talking a lot more power, if you have wet cell batteries, say you have a 100 amp hour wet cell, that's only 50 amp hours because you only want to do your depth of discharge to like 50%. Lithiums, you drain them all the way. I probably wouldn't though. I'd go to probably 20, but you can drain them all the way if you really want to. Now, that's 50% more with a lighter battery because you can only go down to 50% with a wet cell battery. So another use case is fishermen. Say you got a trolling motor, it takes a lot of power to power a trolling motor and keep it running for the day. I would definitely use one of these lithium batteries if I was a fisherman. Now, RVing, fishermen, and there's all kinds of different use cases. Home backup, you can build a really big power bank with lithium batteries for your home. So there's just all kinds of things that you can use lithium batteries for. So I know I hinted on it earlier with the lifespan of these batteries, but I will say they have a 5-year warranty with LiTime. But the lifespan, if you completely drain these batteries down from 100% to 0% for your depth of discharge, you're looking at 4,000 cycles. Now, to keep in mind, that is nearly 11 years. If you go and say you charge these up and drain them every single day for 11 years, that would be 4,000 cycles. That's wild. But you can, say you only do like 60% depth of discharge, that they're stating would be around 15,000 cycles. Now, your typical wet cell AGM battery, you're talking maybe 3 to 5 years. I typically get about 3 out of mine for some reason. I just can't hold a charge with them. I don't know what that's about. So lithium batteries, they're going to be a little bit more expensive in the initial cost of a lithium battery, but you're going to be saving money over the long term because you're not going to have to be purchasing battery after battery after battery after battery. You'll still have these same lithiums. Now, one thing that I would like to say about the durability of these batteries though, the ones that you seen earlier, those minis, I went on the Georgia Traverse and beat on this trailer pretty good, and this box here took a beating. I just have leaf springs with some shocks under this trailer, so there was some abuse to those batteries, and they held up. Like, they did just fine. They are still ticking today. There's nothing wrong with the LiTime batteries that I had. It's just I wanted to upgrade to the self-heating. Now, what I plan on doing with the rest of the batteries, see, technically I have 2 down there that are the minis, and I have 2 up here that are the self-heating smart batteries. They're both 12.8 and 100 amp hours, so you might see where I'm going with this. These easily will fit down in my box, but these won't. So I'm going to connect all 4 eventually, not right now, but eventually they're going to be connected, and 2 of them are going to live in the trailer where I'm able to hook my diesel heater up through a port and actually warm the inside of my trailer if I ever need to, and then these are going to be self-heating. So I'm going to have 400 amp hours of 12.8 volt batteries. That's a lot of watt hours. I think that's over 5,000 watt hours of power that I'm going to have for this little Jeep trailer. Lithium batteries can charge 10 times faster than the average wet cell battery, and just, you're really flexible. Like I mentioned earlier, you can charge it off the alternator, BC-DC. You can charge it off of a generator if you're carrying one of them and maybe like an RV situation, and you can also charge it just plugging into the wall, or solar. Now keep in mind these are 100 amp hours of batteries, but since I have two, that's going to be 200 amp hours, so I can continuous charge at 200 amp hours. Now LiTime has a great website. It's not archaic like a lot of them, especially Chinese websites can be. It's very intuitive, user friendly, and I want to show you guys just their 70 plus batteries and 50 plus accessories. Well, one last thing before I get into boondocking and using these batteries, I want to show you guys why LiTime is a #1 online selling lithium battery brand. I feel like a lot of it has to do with their website. Now, if you go to their website, you can see if you hover over shop, just how they have 12 volt, 16, 24, 48, 36, 48, just all the different battery variations, DC chargers, inverters, accessories, solar charge controllers. There's so much on their website, and it's so user friendly to use. If you go up here, we'll find our battery real quick, this one right here, so we'll go into it. And I would like to mention that they ship worldwide. They have 35 different warehouses throughout the world, so it's very quick turnaround times if you were to order a battery. As you can see, there's a Black Friday sale going on, so there's a sale going on right now, and this is actually the pre-Black Friday sale, but the Black Friday sale is coming up as well. So make sure that you go on here and check out whatever battery you might be interested in. Check out the features, the specs, facts, reviews. Compare different batteries if you want to. They even have the user manual. But you can see, I mean, this is not just a cheap Chinese website that is, no good sort of thing. Because there's plenty of them out there. This one, they've put some time into this website and really boosted the user experience and made it to where it's easy for you to navigate their website. So I am very impressed with the website, but I don't want to spend a whole lot of time on it. I just wanted to show you guys that if you do want to go to their site, it's litime.com, litime.com. Well, a few days have gone by and it's now the weekend and we're doing some boondocking here, and I want to show you guys a little bit about my setup. But this is my neighbor JP. He's going to be boondock camping with us as well. We're going to be setting his tent up a little after a while. So 2 people boondock camping. Let's see how well these batteries do with that, and let's go ahead and check out my setup. So there they are, fit perfect down in there. Everything looks nice and clean, and I like just how it looks and fits in this Harbor Freight tongue box. So if you're wondering, Harbor Freight tongue box, the taller one, will fit 2 100 amp hour 12 volt LiTime batteries. Now that's my inverter over there. That's for the solar. I purposely parked in the woods where you can't get any sun with the solar, because this test is just going to be, the actual capacity of the batteries. There's not going to be anything charging it up, not a generator, not solar, not anything of that nature. I'm just going to see how well these batteries do with a night of boondocking. So this is my setup, and let's go out to the back of it and I'll show you what I'm currently powering. Currently I have, this is either a fridge freezer. I got it set right on the line of fridge freezer at the moment. Just got a couple of refreshments in there. I thought about getting ice cream, but it's just too cold to be eating ice cream. So this is my Dometic CFX. I believe it's a 35, and I've got it on at the moment, and it is 34 degrees on the Dometic. And down here, this one says 29, but it's not really 29. This one you always have to set a little lower, and I check it based upon this right here. See, right now it's just in the refrigerator zone, but the Dometic holds pretty true. So I'm going to be powering 2 fridges tonight. I know that's overkill. I don't really need to, but hey, why not? I want to show what all these batteries are capable of. So along with the 2 refrigerators that I just showed you, I've also got this shower that I'm going to be powering, this diesel heater that I'll be running all night. I just used this 12 volt pump to pump up my air mattress in the tent, and we're also going to be using an even bigger pump to pump up JP's air mattress a little later. So there's quite a few devices that are going to be used on these batteries. And also the trailer, let's go around, I'll show you guys. On the trailer, I've got a switch panel. It's a 12 gang, and it controls all different aspects of the trailer. This is really like the control center. And right now I've got auxiliary on because I was using the pump. I can do the side lights like you see here. So I'm going to use the lights on the trailer, light that up. I have interior lights, just all kinds of cool things on this trailer. And this is my Renogy shunt, and I think there's some strange stuff going on with it, so I'm not entirely sure. I know I'm using 2 watts right now. The refrigerators are already up to temp, so I don't have to worry about, you know, having to drain the battery with them at the moment. So this is the Renogy shunt, and we're going to be comparing the Renogy shunt from what I've got on my phone with the app. So let's go ahead and check the phone and see what it says. So when checking the phone, the system voltage is 13.4 volts and a 209 amp hour capacity. I'm not too surprised by that. The people that actually did the amp hour capacity test on these batteries stated that they were more than what they're actually rated for. So 209 amp hours, we're not pulling any watts. Both the fridges have met temperature. They've been plugged in for about an hour now, and we're still over the stated amp hour. So I'm excited to test all this stuff out and see just how well these batteries hold up to a night of boondocking. Well, several hours have passed, and I just want to show you guys what I've got set up and give you a roundabout number of how many watts each item uses. So my LF Bros diesel heater, it uses about 40 watts. It really depends upon what level you have it on, but this thing gets extremely hot, so I do have to turn it down from time to time. My Camp Lux shower, the propane shower out there, it'll use about 35 watts if I remember correctly, and that's just from the water pump. Now some of the other things that are going to be used, like I mentioned, is the fridges. Once you turn these fridges on, the Bodega and the Dometic, once you turn them on, they're like 60 to 70 watts to get up to or get down to temperature, I mean. And then once it's in idle mode where it goes back and forth, just maintains temperature, they're 30 to 40, maybe 50 max watts. And then I do have an FSR electric blanket up there just in case, and it uses about 10 watts when the blanket's turned on. Well, the glamping really has commenced here. We've got the projector set up over here, watching a little bit of YouTube in the woods. I got the diesel heater going to keep us warm, and let's go ahead and check out the batteries, see what they're doing. I just turned the diesel heater on, so it has surged up quite a bit, but we've got 253 watts out, and that's 19.2 amps, and we're at 198.5 amp hours. Now the projector itself uses about 180 watts of power, so it is the most power hungry, besides the diesel heater when it first starts, it's the most power hungry device I have. I plan on using it for a few hours, you know, just say I did, and diesel heater, it'll calm down here in a minute once it, you know, does the initial surge of power. But we're going to watch YouTube and just hang out and maybe take a shower after that.
Monopoly on this ranking list since day 10. It has been over a month, and it is still holding strong. But where does the Wyoming Snowflake Cabin rank? Which...
Well, after hours of watching the projector and running the diesel heater, let's check the batteries. I feel like it's going to be a significant change from the last time that we checked them. Well, now it looks like we're down to 154 amp hours, and we're going out at 157 watts, negative 11.9 amps. So we have used a considerable amount of the battery, but we're still down to 75%, and I probably watched that projector for 4 hours as well as run this diesel heater. So now it's time to take a shower. I would like to mention that I checked the Renogy shunt over here, and it's really close to that 150. I think the app's now saying 152, and we're at 150. So it is staying close, the Renogy and the LiTime app. Now I'm going to get my propane shower set up here that's running off of the 12-volt water pump. Go ahead and take a shower. I decided I'm not going to show you guys me showering. I'm going to save you from that. Let's go ahead and I'll show you that I am going to be using it, and let's go ahead and fire it up. Well, that was a nice hot shower, and I'm winding down for the night, about to go to bed. Everything seems to be doing great. Still have the diesel heater going. I got my electric blanket plugged in as well. Let's check on the batteries one last time before I go to bed. Amp hour wise, I'm at 150.2. The diesel heater is down to only drawing about 58 watts and 4.4 amps. System voltage is 13.2, and it's currently around 11:30 at night. So I'm gonna go to bed, sleep tonight, run the diesel heater, and check on everything in the morning. Well, that was a nice night of camping. It dropped down to 44 degrees. Right now it's currently 49 degrees. However, because of the diesel heater, I ran that all night, and I had an electric blanket up there. So I had all the bougie stuff going, as you seen from the projector last night. So this has been one day of boondock camping with my LiTime batteries. So let's go ahead and check out how much they dropped down overnight. Well, I just heard the compressor kick on for the fridge. So that is taking 52.8 watts, and there's 119.7 amps still left. And my Renogy says 51 watts at 118 amp hours left. So the Renogy and the LiTime app are very similar. So that makes me feel really good about this whole scenario, because before I was kind of worried that my Renogy shunt was messing up, but actually it wasn't messing up. And now, since I have the Bluetooth batteries, I can confirm that everything's good with the Renogy shunt. And I overall have just really enjoyed these batteries the past 24 hours. They have been just a major upgrade from my 100 amp hour minis that I had before. As you can see, I'm trying to pack up right now. There's a rainstorm coming, so JP and I are trying to get as much stuff up as possible to head out. But my diesel heater, I got it packed up. It did great, flawless last night. 31 degrees on my drawer fridge, and then 36 degrees on my Dometic. That's another thing. I know it dropped down 80 amp hours running all those devices, but you're going to be able to charge with solar. If there's no sun, then you're going to have to charge with a generator or a BC-DC charge controller going from the vehicle, or if you're at shore power, obviously plug into the wall. However, I got 600 watts of solar, so if it was a sunny day, I easily could charge this whole system back up in just a few hours. Well, we are all packed up. We have beat the rain. I really have enjoyed using and reviewing these LiTime batteries. I know I didn't get to use the self-heating function. I only got down to 44 last night, but I plan on using the batteries more this winter, and I'm sure I want to charge them up while it's below 41 degrees. So I will be using the self-heating function. I'll update you guys a little later on that. If you want to know more about these LiTime batteries, or if you have a question, leave it down in the comments below, and I hope to have a discount code for you guys as well. So make sure you check the description for that, and when it comes to Jeeps, keep it classic.